Australia has a growing poverty crisis, and it's coming for more than half of the population.
I didn't expect to be homeless at 50.
In Australia, there are around 750,000 more women in poverty than men. In a wealthy country like ours, where women have a higher educational attainment, what's going on? And how did we get here? To understand the economic marginalisation of women, we need to start with work. Traditional gender roles force women to do most of the caring and household work. And while that has been changing, we're still shouldering the majority of the domestic labour. The most recent census data shows that we're doing 14 hours of unpaid household work per week, compared with men's 5 hours. All of the shopping, cooking and cleaning that we're forced to take on is productive work. US economists estimated the value of women's unpaid labour to the economy. It came to $1.5 trillion. Women, especially our mums and grandmas, were more likely to have had to take time out of work to care for loved ones. Yet despite this enormous contribution to the economy, in financial terms, all it does is set us back. But it's not just domestic labour and caring responsibilities. Women's work outside of the home also isn't valued, despite the skills it requires and productivity it yields. Jobs in female-dominated industries like aged care and childcare are more likely to be low-paid, casual and precarious. All of this opportunistic exploitation is experienced more acutely by women of colour, who are oppressed not only because of their gender, but also because of their race. Women of colour are overrepresented in low-paid and insecure work, and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women are paid an average of $11,000 less than non-Indigenous women each year. The disproportionate exploitation of women at work, in and of itself, is unacceptable. But how do women go from being underpaid and undervalued to living in their cars? Think about the employees that are the first to go when the economy takes a hit. Those precarious, part-time, casual jobs are the ones it's easiest to lose. And when women lose our jobs, the government's safety net doesn't catch us.
I'm Joey, I'm 52. I have been homeless since July 2019. I have a fairly serious and persistent mental illness. And I'd like to have some choices.
It's hard. Kids, expenses, groceries, which is like more than what we have the income.
Cut after cut from the Morrison government has left the job seeker rate so low, there are only 3 affordable rentals for a single person underpayment across the whole of the country. And yet again, there are more women than men trapped in this cruel system. Single parents out of work, 80% of them women, experience the most poverty out of any family type. Thanks to a Howard policy and Gillard's expansion of it, single mums are booted off the slightly higher parenting payment as soon as their youngest turns 8. The expansion of this policy alone doubled poverty among single parents. The punitive and racist cashless debit card, which overwhelmingly targets Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, not only leaves women on a poverty rate, but means they can't access cash for their kids' school lunches or when the power is out in remote communities. Women on temporary visas are locked out entirely from any form of income support, an unforgivable failing to provide basic human rights. The more layers of disadvantage you face, the more this economic marginalisation compounds. Trans women are more likely to experience poverty, and people with a disability are twice as likely to be living in poverty than non-disabled people. The cruelty of this welfare system forces women into exploitative, low-paid jobs we shouldn't have to take. It's either that or we end up in poverty. Now you think that the government would be scrambling to fix this, but they're capitalising off our oppression too. In a society that values women's work less, it actually makes them look good to be seen to be looking after the blokes. Take the COVID recession. Despite the fact that women lost their jobs at up to 4 times the rate of men, the government's response focused heavily on male-dominated industries. In fact, more direct support flowed to the energy and construction sectors than all other sectors combined. But wait, you say, what about the budget for women? Well, it's a start, but it's not enough to right the imbalance. Not to mention that when you crunch the numbers, 1 year of stage 3 tax cuts will give more money to men than the whole 4 years that the government has allocated to women on all of our issues.
I'm a woman in my late 50s, one of the most vulnerable in our society today. I have lived experiences, poverty, unemployment, underemployment, and then unemployment permanently, followed by homelessness. Us women are the ones that in the past gave up our careers, followed the men's careers, looked after the kids, and we're vulnerable.
A lifetime of economic marginalisation all adds up. On average, women retire with nearly half as much super as men, and 1 in 4 women retire with nothing at all. The combined effect of all of this means that older women are now the fastest growing group facing homelessness. Our mums and grandmas are being kicked out of their homes just so the Morrison government and big corporates can play business as usual. Yes, the gendered nature of poverty is huge and complicated and sometimes overwhelming. But because there are so many factors contributing to our economic oppression, there are also so many fights contributing to our liberation. We need to join our unions and fight back against low wages, casualisation and precarious work. We need to push the government to invest in good public jobs in female-dominated industries. We need to overhaul our welfare system, paid parental leave and superannuation so women aren't trapped in poverty and forced onto the streets. And we need to stand up to sexism and racism everywhere it manifests, because our struggles are bound up together. Those are the big fights, and here's a little one. Today, share this video and talk to someone about the poverty crisis for women, because it's only once we start talking about it that we can start changing it.